Greetings, y'all. Here's part 3 of 3 with my interview with Adriana. Enjoy.
What steps did you go through to decide where you were going to domicile?
Excellent. Yes, that was the easy part. Because again, thank you to all the YouTubers out there like yourself spreading all the news about everything that is to be known about this lifestyle, because you may be a full-time nomad or a weekender. There is always a lot to be learned, and even if you can learn out of experience, whatever you gather from other YouTubers, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
So I did watch a very old video of Bob Wells talking about why he chose Nevada.
Right.
And I started checking, and comparing South Dakota, Nevada, New Mexico, Texas, Florida, all the states many nomads choose. I started comparing the advantages and disadvantages
For your particular
for
situation,
my particular
right?
case.
Yep.
And I chose Nevada. So by the time I was completing my journey, my first stages, I went to the Badlands, then I explored the Black Hills, and then I went south from there, and I spent some time in Colorado, and then I went to Nevada when the summer was over, and I became a resident of Nevada in November of 21. Yes, that was the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's when I saw you on YouTube and said, "Oh
Yes.
my God, you did it!"
Yes, you're doing it. That was your comment.
Yeah.
Yes, because it took a while
Yeah.
to get there. It was hot, so I stayed a long time up in the mountains
Right.
in Colorado, which was delightful. And then when the temperatures allowed, I went to Nevada and I did my residency, and I am very happy. The only negatives thing, which is very doable anyway, Nevada, you have to renew your registration every year, once a year. So once a year in November, I have to be in Nevada for that, which is okay. I can work my itineraries around that.
Yeah.
And go to Nevada. And this year is going to be doing the registration and voting, because now that I am resident, I get to vote in Nevada.
And how long does your license last before you have to re-up your driver's license? Is it 4
The
years,
driver's
6
is
years, something like
10
that?
years, I think.
Oh man.
But I didn't have to do anything. They accepted, I didn't have to go through a test or anything.
Nice.
They accepted my Minnesota drivers.
Okay.
And that's fine. I think they gave it to me for 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought Washington State was long with 6, but that's great.
I think it was that way.
Very cool.
But don't quote me, because
So out here, there are times when there's 2-3 days of clouds, wind, rain, and you're kind of stuck inside your rig,
really?
like last week.
And you don't get solar power,
Exactly.
and you have to eat everything you have in the fridge before it goes bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's some cabin fever involved in there. How do you manage that?
My longest stretch was in Pahrump in the desert, and it was a wind storm. You couldn't see out more than 50 yards because we were in a cloud of dust.
It's amazing.
It was imposing, to say the least. And it was like 4 or 5 days. And if you open the door, the whole desert comes in.
Yes.
And then you will be cleaning for 2 or 3 days. Yes. And you don't want to breathe that.
No.
By the way,
No.
those 2020 masks, you always have one of those handy, because when it is dusty like that in the desert, you better mask yourself, because otherwise you're going to be breathing silica and so many other things, apart from parasites and everything, that are going to be bad for your lungs.
Yes.
So please wear a mask. it's fascinating because if you do your homework properly, there is nowhere to go. You cannot hide. It's nature, is bigger than us. So you can go to town, it's going to be the same thing. And you have better Wi-Fi in the desert. In Param, you have better Wi-Fi
it's amazing.
in the BLM than in town. But then you connect to your primal needs. If it is dark, you go to sleep. If it is, the sun is out there, and you just slow down. You become like a bear hibernating, and you slow down. Do you like to stay in bed and doing nothing all day? Do that. Do you like to take care of your nails and do your pedicure and manicure? You will
That's
have
a great time to do that kind of thing.
Exactly. You will have time to cut your own hair, do so many things. You can try cooking something new, and you always have something to experiment on. Always have a craft, a thing you can employ your time, invest your time in. But I feel the best part of that is just slowing down to the most, how do you say,
like
to the
elemental.
slowest.
Your slowest speed. Gear.
Experience that. Experience, I am in bed and I feel sleepy. Take a nap.
Take a nap. Because there's no other situation that it's genuine like that.
Exactly, because your body will recover from decades of abusing it and putting it through the stress of having your boss breathing on your neck. Just relax and think of your boss. They're working hard and you are relaxing. Put some music on if you like music. Just do nothing. Practice your yoga if you like yoga, or anything, or pig out on cheese and olives or whatever your poison is. Enjoy the doing nothing. Doing nothing is an art.
It is. Totally.
And just
a skill.
Yes.
An art and a skill.
I enjoy just looking outside and looking at it was so amazing that during that storm, the ravens were playing in the wind, and there were many of them, like
on
at least
drafts.
10 or 15 of them doing it together at the same time. I would sit there and just look at those thingies, and hours would go by, and my brain was dead. I was not thinking.
Yes, no thinking required.
It was amazing. It was so pleasing. It was really connecting to your inner being that is always under pressure. So it is good going back to being, which is what cave people used to do. They would go into their caves when it was raining or flooding or whatever. They were safer inside of the cave, and they didn't have much to do there, so they would sleep.
Yeah.
Or eat whatever rests of mammoth they have for dinner. But they would just stay there and do nothing. It's fantastic. Doing nothing is very good.
I can't wait now for the next.
Yeah.
What's the most impactful difference for you between being in Sticks and Bricks and being out on the road?
How many days do we have now for this? How many hours? So, I got, 2020 hit us all badly, one way or another. Unfortunately, some people lost their loved ones. The rest of us, we were in lockdown, so I was working for several hours in my computers, and then I would turn them off and sit in front of my TV with my laptop, still connected to the weird things. So, because that was my life.
Yeah.
And eventually, and I was almost ready to start doing this, I was so happy I was going to do this because I was thinking, if I keep living this life, my neighbors one day, they're going to smell something funny coming out of my apartment, and they're going to call the police for a well check, and they're going to find me there. And I mean, when you get to that point of desperation, because 2020 messed up with my head,
Yes.
and you have no idea how much hair I lost by the handful, because the stress of just being there, not
Isolation.
seeing, I know, not seeing a human being, not always the same thing. It was so tough on me, and so it was so painful. The contrast, the freedom of being out here. You open your doors and you see a tree, a mountain, a lake, and you can change your scenery every day. And if one day they find me in there, they will find me with the biggest smile in my face because
with your boots on.
I sleep amazingly. I feel safe out here. I make friends every freaking day. Yes. And you get these beautiful conversations with others. You sit around a campfire. Oh my gosh, what a difference. Being in the sticks, I never want to go back there, never ever.
Nope.
If my body cannot handle this life anymore, oh well, I will go. Yeah.
You'll be ready.
But that is not my choice. I don't even think of this. Every time I find a little town that is super quaint and beautiful, I go like, oh, what if I rent a little apartment here? Oh, wait, no.
Hang on.
Because then I am going to be again in between four walls. What am I thinking? What is my brain doing to me? Bringing me back to, you should be living in sticks and bricks because that is what society expects of you. No, society, you can keep waiting because unless I cannot move, I am not going back to sticks and bricks. It's so beautiful out here, even if it is not actually material for a masterpiece to be painted, because you may be in the middle of the desert. What are you talking about? You're surrounded by rocks and nothing. Yes, I love it.
Well, thank you so much for your time and your amazing answers. I know there's going to be a lot of people out there that just needed to hear what you had to say. So,
well, thank you very much for that. I mean, your questions were very challenging, very interesting, very nice. It looks like you know what you're doing.
I do.
Thank you.
Bye.